All right, here's a Weil McLain Ultra. This one is a 255, 230, sorry. McLain Ultra 230. I got the faceplate off, and eventually I'm gonna have to try to get that off. I've been soaking these bolts because they break off normally. So I'm gonna see if I can get them out without breaking them. This gasket has to get replaced, and this inner gasket here sets in the groove, so the burner has to come off. There's 3 bolts so that you can replace this gasket. This I'm going to be cleaning, brush out all that junk inside, but the big part of this here, Weil McLain makes these heat exchanger knives for cleaning, so you can get down and you go in at an angle. And you can tell there's a lot of junk in here. You want to clean it all out. So you got to go through the whole thing. I usually go at an angle as many as I can this way, go up at an angle this way, and if you can get in at all, sometimes I'm fine. Yeah, sure. You go straight in, work all the junk out of it, try to get it down into the bottom, and then you just flush it all out the drain, and you have to clean out the drain trap. But there'll be a lot of junk in there. And I try to flush it out. I have, if you can use a hose carefully, otherwise I just use a spray bottle, squirt it out, dump some in on the top, let it run through, get as much out of there as you can. When you put the new gaskets on and you put the faceplate back on, there's an order that they want you to put these, that they want you to put the nuts back on to hold it. I think normally it comes with heat exchangers. So we're doing this one. That's for the smaller ones. They want you to put those nuts on in order. So that's just so that it all sits real nice and flush, and you're pushing it on evenly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going at this from all directions, and just try to clean this thing all out and then put it back together. All right, that'll do it. All right, here's finished result after I cleaned it. It looks a whole lot better all the way through, even down in the bottom. There was a pile of stuff in there, and the drain wouldn't drain very well. So I did rinse out the drain trap. All that junk is inside there, and at least that much inside the drain trap. So this is looking a whole lot better. Now we're going to put it all back together. Always prime the trap. Make sure you put some water back in there. But that's pretty good. This one cleaned up nice. Okay, we're gonna put the gaskets back back together. Obviously, that is pretty bad shape. Get a new one here. Can't put it on wrong. You notice nothing lines up, so has to fit just right, and then everything lines up, so it's not a big deal. This you can put on wrong, so there's a right way to do this one. See, there's stripes on the one side, and then on the bottom is smooth. And so you're going to put the smooth side down in the groove, and then you kind of tuck it in as you go, and careful not to stretch it as you're putting it in. Otherwise, you'll end up with a big chunk left over that you got nowhere to go with. So you're going to just start in one spot. Just push it down in there pretty gently. Doesn't take a whole lot, but you do want to make sure that it's seated in there. You're going to go all the way around, make sure it's not twisting. Stick it in there real nice. Trying to keep that flat side straight down, and I'm not stretching it. Sometimes what I'll do is go around and just kind of get it in place, so that I don't end up with too much or too little. I guess sometimes I have had them where I had to stretch it a little bit. So we'll see. Get it in place. It's hard to do with one hand. But you can see, yeah, this one will have to, actually we'll have to stretch it a little bit to get it in place. So you might have to do it a couple times, but then you'll get it. And then that'll be about it. I'll put the burner back on. Here's the old screws, bolts. I soaked them like crazy with PB Blaster about 4 or 5 times and let it sit about 5 minutes each. And I also took a screwdriver and smacked really hard. Try to loosen up those bolts, just smack right on the top of them 3 or 4 times, let it sit. So, okay. With that burner, we'll go back on real nice. There's a flat spot on one side, and that's for that little window. So make sure you don't get this on wrong, or you'll cover up part of that window, and then the holes will line up right. These is set down, and then put the screw through it and through the hole, and then you can take this little tab and bend it up. That way you don't tighten these screws down a lot, hardly at all, just barely hand tight. You push that tab up against the bolt head, and it'll hold it in place so that the bolt doesn't walk out. There's not a lot of vibration, so it shouldn't, but this is so you don't have to tighten those screws much at all, because you do want to be able to get this back out in a few years. So, okay, that's about it.